Hi class, in this video I want to get you started on the HTML tutorial, well the tech test, the tutorial you're going to do on your own time. You're going to go to codeacademy.com and you're going to create a free account and you're going to complete the HTML portion of the HTML and CSS track. So you can see here's instructions, visit this link, create an account, go to this one, and you're just going to do the first 3 lessons. So stop after the HTML when the CSS starts. We're going to worry about CSS later. We're just going to look at HTML right now. But I'm not requiring you to do anything like take a screenshot of your account or something like that to show that you did the tutorial. I'm just kind of trusting that you did it. Or if you already have HTML knowledge or you've already done this tutorial, then you don't need to do it again. You might want to look at it for a refresher, but in order to show that you've done the work this week, instead of having you kind of send a screenshot or something like that, because of the variety of knowledge that you guys have, some already know HTML, some don't, what I'm going to have you do is a tech test. So you're going to have to complete an HTML-based assignment that's going to require you to know HTML, and it's also going to teach you a few additional skills like loading websites up onto the web so that they're live. So this tutorial is going to be easy for those of you who already understand HTML. It's going to be difficult for those of you who are just starting. So make sure you give yourself enough time, because it's not the kind of assignment where you can just kind of like look at the tutorial and do the exact same thing, look at the Code Academy tutorial and do the exact same thing in the tech test. You're really going to have to know HTML. You're going to have to know what to look for to complete the tutorial. So instructions are located at this link. I'll pull those up and just go over them really, really quickly. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to procure some software that's going to help you work on this, and that's all listed here. To complete this you will need. And then there's steps listed out for you. So basically what you're doing is you're taking this website. I'm giving you the files that make this website. There we go. Okay, so you're going to take this theme that is pre-made, and you're going to show that you understand HTML by making some changes to it. And at the end, it's going to look like this. So it's basically going to look the same, but you're going to do a few things. You're going to take process out of the menu. You're going to put a picture of yourself in. You're going to change the type. You're going to change the skills to skills that you actually have. Don't worry about the icons though. You're going to change the quote to some kind of quote that you want. And this can be a quote that you are inspired by. Just make sure you put the name of the person who said it. Or this can be a quote from you about your work or about how you design or how you write or something like that. You're going to leave the portfolio. You're not really going to do anything with that, but you're going to take some key elements out. So you can see this is a lot shorter than this one. You're going to take this project section out, the case studies. You're going to take the process out. And all the instructions are here in the tech test link from Blackboard. So there's a step-by-step list. I highly suggest that you just print this out and cross them out as you go. But how do you do all this? How do you get all of this accomplished? Well, here's what you need to do. You need to download the theme. And we're working with the Vitality theme, which again is just a pre-made HTML theme that I've bought online. And I'm just going to drag that to my desktop for now. And I'm going to double click it to unzip it. Okay, so there we go. There's the files that I need. I'm also going to need a few pieces of software. So I have CyberDuck here ready to go, and I have Text Strangler here ready to go. These are my suggestions for Mac. If you're working with a PC, I have other suggestions in the instructions document. So before I can begin, I need to go to iweb.bsu.edu and request that Ball State set up some free hosting for me and give me a domain name. So Ball State actually has hosting set aside specifically for you, and they will attach your name to it. So you want to go to iweb.bsu.edu and you want to click support. Now I already have an account, so when I log in using my regular Ball State username and password, I'm going to see information. If you have never set iWeb up before, you're going to see a button on this page asking if you want to set it up. Click yes. And what's going to happen is Ball State's going to make some hosting for you. I don't know how long it takes, so don't do this the day the project is due. And the domain name they're going to give you is going to be your username.iweb.bsu.edu. And that's going to be the same for everybody except for the username part. So that's what you need to do to get started. Once you have iWeb set up, the next thing you need to do is get your Bootstrap Vitality theme and open it and look at all the documents in here. So just like I showed you in the last video, you'll see if I go to Assets, Images, Creative, About JPEG, there's the picture that will eventually be a picture of you. And then so assets is where all the pictures and videos and things like that go. Index.html is our HTML, and that's why it ends with .html. It's called index.html because the way the web is set up, any file called index.html is considered to be the main page of the website, and that's just how it is. That's how it was invented. That's how it was made when it was invented. So you just have to do that. And so what I want to do is take my index.html and I'm going to open it in Text Wrangler. And the reason I'm using Text Wrangler, or if you're on a PC, Notepad++, or you could use Dreamweaver too if you have that and you want to use it, is that these programs are set up to color code the HTML for us. So it's going to make looking at this HTML a lot easier. So the way this is working is the actual HTML tags are in blue, the content is in black, and then CSS, IDs, and classes and things like that, which you haven't learned about yet, are in purple and brown. So pretty much can ignore purple and brown for the most part, except for, some of these image sources, which you'll recognize from your tutorial. So we're mostly going to focus on the blue. So when there's a section you need to take out, you're going to look for the div that is that section. So I'll give you an example to get started. You need to take out the case studies section. So you can see here we have a tag called section, which is similar to div, but it has a bunch of divs in it. And if we remove a div, so one div starts with div and ends with end div, so that's a complete rectangle on my site, I can take that out. But it also works by section. So I can take this section out and that gets rid of that. Here where I have process, you can see the content, my process. Here's an overview. I don't want that, so I'm going to take that entire section out, and having the divs highlighted in blue is going to help me here because I can see there's where the section begins. I don't see the end section until all the way down here, so everything in between those two areas is the section. So I'm going to take that out. And I also can use this to find. So one thing you'll need to do is change the quote. And the quote says, "Good design is finding the perfect balance." So I can press Command F and I can type in balance or perfect balance. And Text Wrangler will highlight that for me so I can see that this is the quote. So with just a little understanding of HTML, I can actually do a lot with this document. So here's spans, which you're learning about in your Code Academy tutorial. So I can tell that this is the quote. So I can change the quote. I can change the quote. And if I save this, I've now permanently altered this web page. So you're going to go through this and you're going to make all the changes that you need to make. You're going to you're going to save it, and then we're going to put it on the web. So here's how we're going to get it on our iWeb account. You're going to open your FTP client, whichever one it is. You're going to open a connection. You're going to type in your Ball State username, .iweb.bsu.edu. You're going to type in your username and password, and you're going to connect. Now, when my iWeb comes up, it's going to be very confusing. I've had this iWeb for several years, so there's a lot of stuff in here. And yours is not going to look like that. Yours is going to be empty or just have one or two small things in it that Ball State puts there for you. So mine is very, very confusing. And what you need to know about this is that if you make a folder, then that just adds to your URL. So 101, to get to that 101 folder as a visitor, I would go to mlmcnames.iweb.bsu.edu/101. We're not going to deal with any of that. Yours should be pretty much empty. You're going to take these elements that you've now saved and messed with, and you're going to drag them into your iWeb. And I'm going to make sure it doesn't end up in any folders. Okay, so it's going to take a while to copy over. It's not going to be instantaneous. You're going to need, it depends on your internet connection, how long this takes. But I would say give yourself at least an hour to copy it over. So while mine is copying, I'm actually going to show you where I already have it here on my site. So I have a tech test section, and you'll see that my files are there. So I took these files from Blackboard, edited them, and then put them here in my iWeb. And the nice thing about this FTP client is if I messed up, if I go to my site and there's a problem, all I have to do is right click the index in my FTP client, and I can click Edit with Text Wrangler, and I can actually make changes to my live site. So let's do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my site in one window, and I'm going to have text edit open over here. So you can see I can make live changes. So let me find that quote. What quote do I have on mine? This is the quote. Okay, so this is, there it is. So this is the, I can change it to, here is the, and when I save it, if I refresh my site, you'll see that this is the quote. Changes to, here is the quote. So you can actually edit your site live. If you would prefer to go ahead and put the tutorial files on your iWeb and then use this method where you have it open on the left on one side and then you have what the site looks like over on the right and change it and kind of look back and forth and see what happens, you certainly can do that, and I would highly suggest that. Just remember that in order to do that, you need to put the files on your iWeb and then right-click index and go to Edit with, and then choose the program that you want to use to edit it. That's everything. If you have any questions, please use that Google group to ask and see if someone can help you out. If you get really stuck, let me know and I can kind of talk through the problem with you. But give yourself lots of time to do this. If you know HTML, it's going to be a breeze. If you're just learning it, it's going to take some time. You're going to do a lot of kind of trial and error, changing things here in the index and then seeing what it does to the site.